In this video, we will take a look at how we can leverage the element graph to create a custom brush alpha while texturing our assets in the asset texturing project. And I have this character bust here where I want to paint a little bit of dirt. And for that, I want to have a custom brush with parameters that I can adjust. And to do that, it is quite easy. While I'm here in my asset texturing project, I can just go to this plus here and create a new element graph. So let's do that. Let's create one without a template. And for my brush alpha, I want to keep it simple, so let's just start with a shape generator. Let's set it to grayscale. And I will only need a simple output, so let us prepare that. Let's drag a connection from the shape generator and just click on expose output as graph output. So now we are set up and can work on our alpha map or brush alpha. Let's see, I want to change this to a circle shape, make it a bit soft, and also adjust the softness curve a bit, maybe like this. And I also want to give it a bit of variance, so let's create a directional warp node. Let's warp that with a clouds noise. And let's preview our output here in the image viewer and set up our warp a bit. So I want to set the directions to 8. And I also want to increase the intensity. 1 looks quite good. We could also override that to maybe 2. That looks a bit too much, so let's change that to 1.5. That looks good. Let's use a slope blur. And let's use a Gaussian noise as our height input. Let's actually preview this in the output here and make a bit space. I want to change the mode to minimum and also increase the intensity a bit. And additionally, I want to create a new directional warp node and use a clouds heavy noise for the intensity input. I will also set this to 8 directions and maybe change the scale to 4x4. And as I want to have a fine brush, let's use a guided scatter node. The guided scatter here is quite great because we can use a mask input. What this will do, when I use a mask input for that, it will only scatter the shapes where the mask is. And let's just reuse the shape generator here, but at first I want to use a grayscale to mask to have a black and white binary mask and input it into the mask input here. As you can see, our shapes are now only scattered where the mask is. So let's set up this node a bit. Let's increase the count, maybe like so. Let's adjust a few things. So let's go to position and increase the offset variance. And also the size a bit and the size variance as well. And now as you can see, my blending isn't as nice as I would want to have it. I want to have a smooth blend. So let's go to color. Let's change the blend mode to maximum. And now as you can see, the blend is quite smooth. But I also want to increase the luminance variance a bit. Maybe even to 1. So we have quite a lot of variation here now, which is what we are looking for. But my mask looks a bit too perfect, so I want to warp that using a warp node. Let's use a Perlin noise. And warp this. Let's decrease the scale here to maybe also 4x4. And let's override the intensity to, let's see, maybe 4. That looks quite good. But it looks a bit small, so I'll use a transform. and increase the size. And I use this as my mask input now. As you can see, the mask isn't a perfect circle anymore. So additionally, I want to have a few smaller bumps, and I just reuse this guided scatter by holding Alt and my left mouse button and dragging the node here. I can duplicate it. Let's go to Scale and decrease it. Be like so. Let's blend this using a maximum blend. And for this guided scatter, I want to increase the mask a bit, the size. So let's reuse this transform node and make it a bit bigger. This looks quite interesting. And as a last step, I want to blend in the clouds heavy noise here. So let's drag a connection, use a blend node, and use the multiply mode. And let's use this as our height now. And I also want to have a few parameters for that, at least one. So let's maybe expose the size here. So I can either just right click on the size here and expose as input parameter, or I could have also expand the node and drag a connection from this, from the input, and expose as, in this case, stroke, but we don't want to have stroke, we just want to have size. Let's change the parameter control type to percentage slider. But as you can see now, this size looks a bit too big, because I don't want to have it tiling. So let's look for a size that is acceptable. I also don't want to have it at full 0 because the brush wouldn't be visible anymore. I want to find a space where the brush has a scale that is acceptable. So like 29, 28, maybe 30% looks good. So to limit our parameter, I could do two things. I could go into my graph variable editor, but first I need to select my parameter here. And I could limit it here from, I don't know, 0.3 to 0.5. But when I do that, you can see it's limited from 30 to 50, but I want to have the full range here. So let's go back and change that back to 0 to 1. And we will use a lerp float node. And this way we can limit the brush size, but still have a parameter that goes from 0 to 1. So for my A, I will use 0.3, and for B, I'll use 0.5. I'll input my parameter into the X and the result into size. And now when I go to my graph object editor, I have the full range from 0 to 1. And the brush size still looks acceptable. Could maybe make this even a bit smaller, so let's use 0.25. Yeah, this looks good. What's left to do now is to give the graph a nice name, so I call that custom brush. And specify a category. I'll use paintbrush mask. And also a description, so this is my demo brush. Now I just save my graph. When I now go back to my asset texturing project, let's turn off ray tracing for now. So when I now create a new multi-channel brush and click on the arrow here, I can go to show objects from current package. And here's my brush. And now I'm able to use it on my model. Let's change the color a bit. I want to stay within the palette here, so I'll use a brownish color, maybe something a bit darker. Let's make it quite rough. The rest can stay as is. I want to change a bit of my brush settings. So I go to brush properties here. And I want to especially choose the dynamics rotation. So when I use it, it doesn't look as regular anymore. Maybe also the flow a bit. And the size. And now I can use my custom brush here on my model. Let's go back to color, make it a bit darker maybe. And here we have our size parameter that we exposed in our element graph. So I can use this as well. I think the color is still a bit hard to see. Let's make it darker again. We shouldn't use full black for PBR, and also full white isn't good to use. And what's also cool about this workflow, you can just go back to the element graph. And for example, I can change my shape to a box. Then my brush changes completely. I can save this. Go back to my project here. Select my multi-channel brush. And then as you can see, we have a completely different shape here. And yeah, easy as that, we were able to create a custom brush mask just within a few seconds without the need to change the software or anything like that. So this workflow is really powerful. You can just create a new element graph, create a new brush or a decal or anything that you can imagine basically. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, drop us a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. For the latest news about InstaMAT, please visit our website, follow us on X, join us on Discord, or sign up for the Abstract community. You can find all the links in the video description below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.